internet and it was not liking it. So hello and welcome. So hopefully you have stuck with me. I can see a few of you have jumped on early and have chatted. So that is awesome. So I can see I've got Margaret and I've got Sue and Anne. Hello and welcome. So hopefully everything's all working now. Just a bit of a technical issue there. So I don't know what you've seen on your end, but when I went in, it said that it had shut down. And so I had to go back in and start again. So hello and welcome. So I am here with episode number 3 of my treat holders. And I can see someone's saying, good afternoon, Donna and Theo, plus all your crafty friends. Well, Theo's not actually here. I know. Where is he? He's missing. He just got fed, so he's probably lazing about out in the lounge room because I've actually fed him before I jumped on because he was driving me insane because I actually had my dinner. So therefore he was like, well, you can feed me too. So it's only fair, I guess. So hello and welcome. So I've got a super cute project for you today, and I'm going to go through once again how to work out the template for it. We're going to start with the template first of all, and then we're going to put this together. So I found some really, really cute little boxes of Werthers Originals. Now, who in their life has had Werthers Originals? I remember my Nan and Pop always had Werther's Originals at their place, and they were a caramel. If in case you don't know what they are, they're a caramel hard-boiled lolly, and some of them actually have like a chocolatey inside depending on what you've got, but they're called cream candies, and they are absolutely yummo, and it's something that I've grown up with. And when I could see that you could buy them in a cute little box, I thought, well, wouldn't that be awesome to actually make a nice little treat holder for the gorgeous little Werthers Original boxes. So Leslie says, yep, my mum lives on them. And you know what? My mum and dad, when they went traveling, they used to have a jar of them in their motorhome, and that's what they used to eat as they drove along, was the Werther's Originals. And I think, okay, so the next thing is, what did you do? Did you crunch into them and bite into them, or did you savor them and just let them dissolve into your mouth? So tell me, how did you eat them? So I can tell you, as a child, I crunched into them. I was not about to let it dissolve in my mouth. But as an adult, I actually don't mind, having them and savoring them for quite a while. So hello. Catching me making a cute gift box has made your day, Cindy. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that it has made your day. So welcome, everybody. I can see quite a lot of you. Melinda says she has to bite into them. Carol says savor and suck till the last moment. Leslie, I'm a sucker in more ways than one. Melted in my mouth. Sue says she likes them to savor. Let them dissolve. Yeah. Okay. So we all have different ways of eating. I remember my Nan and Pop used to live across the road from a little takeaway food shop, and it was a little corner store, and they used to always give us 20 cents to go across the road and get 20 cents worth of lollies. And my brother used to get 20 cents worth of all-day suckers so that he could have them all week and absolutely taunt us and say, well, you didn't get all-day suckers. Mine are going to last me all week. We would get 20 cents worth of lollies and they would be gone in 5 seconds flat. And my brother used to have the all-day suckers, and he would still be eating them at the end of the week, nearly getting to the next weekend that we were going to Nan and Pop. So yeah, the things we do as children, hey? All right, so let's get down onto my desk so you can see. So I've already made one of these cute little boxes. Now, this is a flip top box. So this ribbon is going to come off. So it's just a slide-on ribbon. And then it's a flip top box. And then, of course, your candies go inside, okay? So it's a cute little, it's a little bit like I don't know, like a matchbook type of thing, something, but it's called a flip top box. So that's actually what we're going to be creating. And the reason that I've got the ribbon as a slip-on is so that they can take the ribbon on and off and not disturb the way the box is made. You don't want to have ribbons and things that they have to destroy the box when they're opening it up. So these were the cute little candies that I found, and I thought that they were absolutely can't buy anything for 20 cents now. I know it's sad, isn't it? So I can see Facebook user says that they have never tried them. You don't know what you're missing out on. They are absolutely wonderful. So I've got some of these. Now, you could also, in this box, we could also put some chocolates in this box as well. So depending on what you want to pop into the box is a fairly handy size. So let's get to making this box. So I have a piece of Lost Lagoon cardstock, and the Lost Lagoon cardstock is 5 3/4 wide by 7 5/8 long. Okay, so on the 7 5/8 side, I'm just going to grab a trimmer out of here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this on my, well, I was going to do it on my Score Pal, but I don't even know where I put that. I put that in. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to do it on my Score Pal. So who's got one of these in their craft stash? So I'm going to do it on my Score Pal just to show you, so it's a lot easier for you to understand. And I'm just going to take, I don't have a stylus. On our Take Your Pick, you actually have an end that you can have as a stylus. I don't have one at the moment, so I'm just going to use just my handy-dandy bone folder. All right. So the first measurement so we're scoring along the 7 5/8 side, and we're going to score at 7/8. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with the eighths of an inch. Now, the only thing I can say is in 1 whole inch, and I'm gonna bring this up because everyone asked me this question, okay? So in 1 whole inch, we have 8 equal parts, okay? So those 8 equal parts are 1/8. So in a whole inch, half an inch is 4/8. A quarter of an inch is 2/8. So if I'm going to 7/8, I'm going 7 of those strokes, and that's going to take me to 7/8. So it's 1 stroke before the 1 inch. So a lot of people struggle with inches, and honestly, they are so easy. It's no different to metric, only we divide by 8, not 10. So it's as simple as that. We divide by 8, not 10. Okay, so in a centimetre, there's 10 millimetres. In 1 inch, there is 8/8. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to do it at 7/8. We're going to do it at 3 3/8. 1, 2, 3, there. So 3 3/8. We're going to do it at 4 1/4. Okay, and we're also going to do it at 6 3/4. 6 3/4 there. Okay, so that's along our long side. So we've done it 7/8, 3 3/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/4. Then we're going to rotate, and along our 5 3/4 inch side, we're going to do 1 at 7/8. Now the 7/8 is how deep our box is. Okay, so that's why we're doing the 7/8, and I'm going a bit out of kilter there. So 7/8, and then we're going to do 4 inches. So if you didn't catch my live video the other day, and we're going to do 4 7/8. Okay, so that's 1 stroke before the 5/8. Okay, so can you notice that we have 2 score lines, if I can get there. So we have 2 sections here, but we have 1 section there, okay? So this is actually the bottom of our box, and this is the flap over lid of our box. So what I want to talk to you about again is when we did our template before. Now this one's a little bit wider, and I didn't worry about the width because I thought it was quite handy to have a little bit of extra width. But I actually had to change this measurement here. So I had to measure from the bottom to the top, and I had to work out what measurement that had to be. Then, of course, this section here is the width. Remember how I did the box the other day? We need it to be able to fold up the top and the bottom and on the sides. And then, of course, this bit here is our little flap part that flaps back over. So that's actually how easy it is to create a box. So if I had a bigger box, the first thing I do is measure my box. I measure my box and I build out from my box. So this actually is a little bit different to what we did the other day because our box went this way the other day. Our box is going this way this time. So it's actually wrapping around. So we've got the side, this bit here is the side that flaps up. This bit here is the side that flaps up. This bit here is the bit that goes across the top. And this bit here is the bit that flaps down over the other side, okay? And these ones here are our bottom flaps, and this one here is our bit that's going to fold over on the top, okay? Does that make sense? Now, our designer series paper, I've used the gorgeous Magical Meadow. Is that what it's called? Winter Meadow? Magical Meadow? Anyway, it's new in the catalogue, and the catalogue goes live tomorrow, so you'll be able to see it tomorrow. And I've got a piece for the front. This piece here is 2 1/4 by 2 3/4 for the front part. These two pieces on the sides are 3/4 of an inch by 2 3/4 as well. So they're same height, but they're just 3/4 of an inch, okay? All right, so now what we're going to do is, as we did yesterday, we're going to fold and burnish. Sorry, not yesterday, the day before. So that was video number 1. So if you missed video number 1 of my treat holders, go back because I showed you the never fail method of making a box. So it always comes down to what you're putting in the box, the original size of what you want to put in the box, and then allowing enough for your sides, your top, and any flap that's going to fold over, okay? So the difference in this bit here is we're actually going to cut away this section here because we only need one bit to flap over on the top. So I'll just go through the cutting instructions and then we will carry on. Okay, so once again, anytime we're cutting, we're going to cut up to that first score line, like so. I'm actually going to cut away this first one here because we don't actually need that. So I'm going to cut away that one and I'm going to cut up all the other ones on that short side. So the side that's only got the one score line, Winter Meadow. I don't know how I got the magical, but anyway, Winter Meadow. Thank you, Julie. So I've cut away the left-hand square. I've then left the big rectangle straight. I'm actually going to miter in those little flaps there, and of course this one here. Okay, now the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to rotate to where we've got these two flaps. Okay, so we've got our square missing there, we've got our big rectangle, our little flap, a big rectangle, and a little flap. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go right from on this score line. So we've got 2 score lines up the top. We're going to go on that score line there. We're going to go right through to that first score line there. Okay, so we're going to go, we're going to take that part away. Okay, so I'm going to cut straight down there. Okay, so can you see that? So far we've cut away that corner. We've come down along here. We've now gone around the corner and we've taken out that first full rectangle piece. So it's the small flap and then the larger flap. So we're taking away those. Now these ones, instead of cutting this way, we're actually going to cut those this way because these are the top of our box. That one and this one. You'll see where I'm going here in a minute. Okay, so we have that. All right. Oh, so I was right. The bundle is called Magical Meadow. The suite is called Winter Meadow. Well, there you go. And the paper's probably called Winter Meadow. Okay. All right. So we've done that. Now, what actually is going to happen is this bit here is going to be, the front of our box. Can you see that? That's going to fold over like that. That's going to be the front of our box. This bit here is going to be the lid that's going to come down over, and this is going to be the bottom of the box. Can you see how it goes together? So now what we need to do is we need to decorate before we put this together. So we need to decorate this one, and this one. So where we've cut away from that rectangle, the big rectangle, we're actually going to decorate those pieces. So I'm just going to grab my glue and we're going to decorate those. So we're going to pop a piece on there. Now I've got this a little bit shorter, and it's okay because the lid's going to go down over it. So it doesn't matter that the designer series paper is a little bit shorter. So I'm actually going to pop them down towards the bottom of those layers. Okay, so making sure that it's nice and even. So we're going to do the two sides and the front of our box. Oops, nearly lost my glue. Two sides and the front of my box. Now I am using liquid glue because you all know I ran out of my Seal Plus. So I will pop my liquid glue in my glue holder so I don't have to keep shaking the lid, hopefully. All right. So now that we have our front of our box decorated, now is the opportunity to cut out a finger hole in here. So we want to be able to get those Werthers Originals out easily. So I'm going to use a 1.5 inch punch, and I'm going to punch out a semicircle. So to do that and to get the punch in, so if I don't fold these flaps in, it's really hard. So you just fold those two flaps in, and then you'll be able to get your punch in nice and easily on that. There is no way that you can get that punch in unless you use a smaller punch after you've put it together. So you really need to do this piece before you actually stick it together, okay? All right, now, before I actually stick all that together, I want to do another template. So I want to show you, like on Monday, I showed you how to do a template for the size soap. So I had a different size soap. So I want to have something different. So let's say we decide to do that in a box. So as you can see, it's a totally different size to our Werthers Originals. But let's say we want to do that as a box, okay? So the first thing what we need to do is we need to know our overall length. Now remember, with a punch, it slopes down here, so we've got a longer length on the bottom than what we do on the top. So we actually are going to measure the overall length that we have, and it's 4.5 inches long, okay? So 4.5 inches by, we'll say 2.5 inches wide. Actually, we'll say it's 2 3/8 wide. Okay. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper and we're going to work this template out once again so you know how to arrange this template when it comes to, I'm just going to grab a book so I can draw on the book. Okay. So we've worked out that this one here, what did I say it was? 4.5 inches long. So we've got a 4.5 inch square. Let me grab a pen. So we're going to draw our rectangle that's our punch. So if it's 4.5, we may want to do it probably 4 3/4. So this length here needs to be 4 3/4. This length here, it's like a maths lesson, this, isn't it? Do you guess that I loved maths at school? So that's 2 3/8. So we're going to do it, I'm going to say 2 5/8. 2 5/8 of an inch. Okay. So that is the base of what we want to do. So there's the square that what we want to do. So then what we've got to do is we've got to add the height that we need it. So we're going to check out what the height is. So the height is, we'll say we want the height to be 1.5. Okay. So we're going to need to add 1.5 onto here, 1.5 onto here, 1.5 onto here, and 1.5 onto here. Okay, so that there is 1.5 inches. Okay, that there is 1.5 inches. That there, going that way and that way, is 1.5 inches, and same thing here, 1.5 inches. All right, so now the difference between this box, okay, so we're just going to add that there, our little flaps. The difference between this box is we have another side to it, so we have to add this 2 5/8. We have to add another 2 5/8 there. 2 5/8 that way. Okay. We also have to add another 1.5 inches because we need the flap to come back over and flap over here. So we're going to add another 1.5 inches there. Okay. So we've added that on like that. And then the difference is we need the lid to come over the top. Okay. So we want the lid to come over the top. So we need to add that 1.5 inches on there to have the lid to come over. Now, if we wanted the lid to come down further, we would have to add a bigger area just here. So if you wanted the lid to come down further, you would have to add a bigger area just there, but it's 1.5 there. Okay, so now to find the overall size, once again, we're going to have a maths lesson. So this size here, we are going to have this bit here, which is 1.5. We are going to plus this bit here, which was 2 5/8. We're going to plus another 1.5. We're going to plus another 2 5/8. And we're going to plus another 1.5. Okay, so that is going to equal there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8.5. 8.5, 9, 9.5, 9 3/4, 9 3/4. Okay, how good was I adding all those fractions up? 9 3/4 is the width that we're going to have here. Now we've got to find this one here. Okay, so we're going to do times this one here. So we've got 1.5 inches here. So we've got 1.5 plus 4 3/4 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5, 9 1/4. Okay, so the piece of cardstock to make a box for that would have to be 9 3/4 by 9 1/4. Does that make sense? Okay, and then when we're cutting it, we're going to do exact same thing. You're going to cut away that, you're going to cut away that, and that's going to make your box. Okay, your score lines will be at 1.5, then you've got to add 2 5/8 to 1.5 to find out this score line, then you've got to add another 1.5, then you've got to add another 2 5/8, then you're done. Same thing this way, 1.5, 4 3/4 between this and here, and 2 and 1.5, 1.5 and 1.5. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense and you can work out a template from that. Okay, so let's finish our cute little box. It's like a maths lesson, isn't it? I'm going to have some coffee because I've just had dinner and now I want to have a coffee to finish. And it's a bit of a strange coffee because I've mixed two different types of coffee together. All right, so the first thing what we're going to do now, I'm going to use tear and tape for this because I would normally use Seal Plus, okay? So I'm going to use tear and tape. And what we're going to do is we're going to put tear and tape on this flap here, and then this one is just going to flap straight over and go onto that one, okay? So I'm going to put tear and tape along here. It's always handy to know what type of adhesive to use as well when you're making things like this, Now, the reason why I'm using Terran tape when I'm doing this is because I want it to be a strong hold. So I actually was in advanced maths at school. I loved maths. That was the only thing I was good at. As far as everything else, no. But maths, I absolutely loved it. Because I always think maths, there's always what am I trying to say? There is always a I can't even think of the word, a plan of how to get to the answer. There's always a plan. You just got to know what plan to use. All right, so we have that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold these in. Now, what I like to do is I like to have this flap that's going to be at the front. As you can see, we have where that fold is, that's going towards the back. This one here, we don't want to have this one flapping over here that it's going to be at the front. Okay, so we don't want that. We want it to be the other way. But I also don't want to have my flaps here inside the box either. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put those flaps in there, and then I'm going to put that down over there. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of Terran tape. Actually, I'm going to use liquid glue because it's going to be easier. Yeah, a solution. Yep. A method. That's what I was trying to say. A method in how you do something. And because there's a method, you just follow the method. There's a rule. You follow the rule and it works. Okay, so we're going to pop that in there, and we're going to pop that in there. Okay, so that's the first part of the bottom of the box. And when you follow the method, you end up with the answer. That's what's so wonderful about maths. Maybe I should have been a maths teacher. No, I don't think I'd like to do numbers all the time. My glue is so nearly empty, it's not funny. A method to a madness. Okay, so then that one folds back, and that is actually creating the box part that the candies are going to go in. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that for a bit while the liquid glue takes hold. And then, of course, with our lid, what we're going to do is I like to, now I remember how I did this. That way is not bad. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to have these ones going in. So I'm going to put glue on those two. And one is going to go like that. Make sure we line those up nice and even. So when you're looking at this lid, this here is a nice flush straight fold. And there's the other one. Now it's totally up to you. You can actually leave the corners on this, or you can actually trim them off. I like to trim them off because once again, when you pop it over, it tends to want to sit out there a little bit. So I actually like to trim them off. So I'm actually going to grab my scissors and trim them off at a diagonal like we did with the box of the soaps. So we're just going to take our scissors and add an angle, cut up to there, and add an angle, cut up to there. Okay. And then, of course, we can pop our little Werthers Originals in there, and they fit really nicely. Pop the lid down. Okay. So now the next thing that I want to do is I want to make a little sentiment label for the front here. So because I'm doing the Christmas theme for things, I'm actually going to do a little Christmas sentiment, and I think I can get it out of, maybe not. Let me see. I've got a piece here. There we go. So I'm going to stamp, once again, that stamp that says, with a little more sparkle and a little less stress, let's make this Christmas the very best, because I think that's such a great sentiment. I'm going to stamp it in, Blueberry Bushel, I think. I was going to stamp it in Lost Lagoon, but I think I'm going to stamp it in Blueberry Bushel because you can see there's Blueberry Bushel in this designer series paper. You could pop In gift card, yep, gift card as well. It's definitely room for doing different things, that's for sure. Okay, so we have blueberry bushel there. And then I'm going to use a 2-inch punch, and I'm going to punch that one out. And the 2-inch punch just does this sentiment. Just. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to use, this one has come in very handy, the decorative circle punch again. I'm just going to grab some, what do I have? Just trying to think whether I want to do Lost Lagoon or whether I want to do Pretty Peacock in behind there. So let's have a look. We'll see which one looks good. That one. Got some scraps here that I'm using up. So do I want to do that one? I am actually going to use the Lost Lagoon ribbon. But do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? Or do I want to do blueberry bushel? So you can make the decision of what you think I should do with that scallopy one. Which colour do we need? So we're going to have this ribbon. So do I do blueberry bushel? Do I do Lost Lagoon? Or do I do Pretty Peacock? So we've got, let's see get that out of the way. Okay, so Sue's saying peacock. So this is the peacock. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Glenda's saying Pretty Peacock looks like it's winning. So you definitely don't think Lost Lagoon? Too pale? Peacock is it. Peacock is definitely it. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do with this one, I'm actually going to pop that on the front, and I'm going to pop that one up. I'm going to do that one directly straight down. Well, I think Pretty Peacock is obviously the winner by a long mile. Okay, so we've got that. Then I'm actually going to pop that up on dimensionals. And the reason that I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals is I want to be able to slide the ribbon in down behind it. Now let me see where I want the dimensionals. Okay, so I want to be able to slide the ribbon down behind it. So I'm putting dimensionals over this side so that then the ribbon can slide in underneath it. Okay, so the ribbon is what's going to hold it shut. You could put a little magnet if you wanted to put a little magnet in underneath here if you wanted to do that. It actually does stay shut quite easily on its own. So you can see it's not actually wanting to spring open. So that's really not too bad. So let's pop this one on the front. And I'm just going to pop it over towards the side. Also, that will help the lid stay shut too because you can pop it in down underneath there. Okay, so then we're just going to take our ribbon and we are just going to tie a belly band around it so that then it will definitely keep it closed. So let's just grab that. Now you're going to see me struggle for real tying a bow like this. So I'm just going to tie it over the top of the sentiment. It's totally okay that I'm doing it that way. And then I'm going to wiggle the bow where I need it to be. And then I'm going to pop it in underneath that. So we have, and there we go. I did tie the bow okay. Okay, so I never ever take the ribbon off the spool until I've tied my bow and I know exactly where I'm going to be with the bow. Okay, that one there can go a little bit shorter. And I have wasted a little bit of ribbon there, but that's okay. when I'm trying to tie a bow like that, I always like to leave myself a little bit extra tail to what I normally would. So I'm just going to rearrange that, and then, of course, I can pop that in underneath there. And I'll rearrange that so that the bow comes up to the top. Okay, and there you have a gorgeous little treat holder that you can pop anything in. And because I have now turned the bow around the other way, because it's upside down, I don't mind a bow like that. It doesn't worry me. Doesn't matter which way a bow goes as far as I'm concerned. A bow's a bow. You know me. But wait for it, ladies. There needs to be a bow. Exactly. Velcro dots could work as well. Yes. Yeah. So really, really cute little favors. Now, I did have people, because I am doing this for the Bow Desert show. So that's why I've decided I'm doing all of these little treat holders. So if you are going to craft fairs and you are trying to make little treat boxes, little favors, these type of things are really, really good. And if you get to learn how to do the template, you have no worries. You can make a box however you want. So this one is just a little bit different compared to the one that I did in episode number 1. It's got the flat lid, the flip over lid. So that's the difference. So it wraps around and flaps over. The other one had a flap over lid, but the flap over lid flapped over the bottom box. So so 2 different ways of doing boxes, but you can seriously make a box for absolutely anything that you want to do. Now, I think that you could easily just pop 2 little chocolates in there too as a little gift to somebody as well. So you can see there, the 2 little chocolates would fit easily into that box. So if you just wanted to, if you're meeting up with some friends and you wanted to take a cute little gift, if you're going somewhere and you just want to say thank you to somebody, what a cute idea of being able to do something like that. Also, too, if you want to sell them at a craft fair, then my idea is you work out how much it costs you for whatever item you're putting in there and add your profit on top. So always remember, whatever it costs you to make it and whatever the product costs to put in there, add that total up and then add on whatever profit you want to make on top of it. I mean, I don't charge for my time, and as long as I can make the cost of what it cost me and that again on top, I'm quite happy. So if something cost me, say, $1.50 to actually make it, I would like to sell it for, say, $3 or $3.50. Okay, so super, super cute, but another different idea. Now, tomorrow I'm going to come back with another fun thing. I'm actually making some kids' little activity fun packs. So I've got those that I'm actually doing, and I'm designing those tomorrow. So I will come back with those cute little activity fun packs. And they're just something, they're good for little stocking stuffers. They're good for handing out to little children if you've got some visitors come and they've got some little children, if you had some on hand. So that's what I will be bringing you tomorrow afternoon. So please feel free, if this is the first time you've watched, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can go back and you can see all of the other videos. So I've done 12 days of Christmas, which was over a week ago. I finished the 12 days of Christmas. Now I'm doing 12 days of treat holders. So hopefully you have enjoyed that. And as I said, please feel free to give me the like button, hit that subscribe button if you like what I've done. And remember, our catalog goes live tomorrow. Our Christmas catalog goes live tomorrow. So anything that you have been waiting on, anything that you have seen that is coming out of the new Christmas catalog, you can buy it tomorrow, everyone. So thank you, everyone. And until next time, have a lovely night. And I will see you all again at 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Thank you.